What's going on, Jabronis? Welcome to another episode of Jabroni Sports. I am your host, AJ Firstenow, Twitter handle at AJ Firstenow, joined today by Gonzo.
Yo, Gonzo1323 at all social media outlets.
And joined by Silky.
How can you dig it? At Scotty262.
And on production today is Johnny Montuano.
Hey-o!
At G-Baby LaFleur. So we got a lot to get to today, boys. It's been a while. We got ourselves a faux boat here. Faux broat. We're going to talk a little NBA playoffs. Maybe discuss where some beef is. Who knows? We'll see. The Dwayne Casey firing, second round recap, and a conference finals preview. Becky Hammond been linked to the Bucks job, something that we're gonna delve into as well. And if we have time, maybe a little bit of hockey talk and NFL draft. So we'll see where we get. Like I said, kind of a full show. So let's get into it. You know. Right. Joining us today is our first guest. He is, full disclosure, the father of two of the members of the podcast, but he is also an avid basketball fan and a holder of several Shoreland Lutheran basketball records.
Right on.
Let's have us join at this moment the one, the only, Gino Montuano.
Yeah.
Hey there,
what's
Gino.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Good. What's the Twitter handle?
The Twitter handle for the show is at Jabroni Sports. Thank you.
No, I just want to know what that was, the definition.
Oh, you just what a Twitter handle is?
Yeah.
You have to pull it open to get into Twitter. So, Gino, I think you're probably in the same boat as most Bucks fans. I think that this season was on some levels a disappointment, but just flesh out how you felt after the playoff series concluded for the Bucks this year.
Well, in hindsight, I'm taking the glass is half full approach to it.
Okay.
I'm wondering, and I'll throw it out for the rest of the panel members, is how are we feeling about the Bucks after seeing the series with that the Celtics just recently concluded? Are the Celtics actually much better than everybody thought? Therefore, the Bucks taking them to 7 did establish more of a case that they're a legitimate playoff contender.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said that the thought didn't cross my mind during that Celtics Sixers series, and that I think I was kind of a de facto Boston fan, like maybe because of that. But yeah, it's hard to not be impressed with what Boston did against Philadelphia. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not it's Boston being much better than we thought, or maybe Philly not being as ready as everybody thought. Because I know Philly had kind of been like coronated as the next team in the East. And Brad Stevens. I mean, Brad Stevens is just a fantastic coach as well. I think that's if you're putting him anywhere below the top 2 or 3 coaches in the league at this point, you're making a huge mistake.
I do got to say that Brad Stevens, those Celtics win by moving the ball. The offense that Brad Stevens has installed is.
But to build upon that, I think that part of it is the fact that the Celtics have played a little bit longer together. A lot of these guys, first time in the playoffs, they're starting to get a little more experience under the belt, and it just shows that quickly because the head coaching is that good.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to gel when you're gelling with an actual coherent scheme. When you're doing something with
Terry Rozier is God.
Yeah, exactly. And Terry Rozier has played some of the best basketball of his life over the last 12 games or so.
And his BFFs was Drew Bledsoe.
Teams that do serious winning move the ball. The only team out there that's doing any serious winning without moving the ball is LeBron.
Yeah, that's an anomaly.
Right.
But yeah, I would say overall, I mean, it made me feel a little bit better about the Bucks, but that might have been because I was looking for a reason to feel better about the Bucks.
Listen, what are some of the takeaways from that series that we can feel good about as Bucks fans? First and foremost, we have a generational player in Giannis to build a team around, correct?
It's the toughest thing to acquire.
Yes.
No, number 2, I thought that Middleton really, really played well and showed that he is a legit number 2. Are we in agreement on that?
No, I don't think I would be happy with Middleton as my number 2 if I thought I had a chance to win it all. I think he's a really awesome number 3, but I think Middleton's best role is when he's playing lockdown defense and when he's shooting the open 3.
He did have a hell of a playoff series.
He did.
Yeah.
He did absolutely. But if you're going to be a team that's going to contend,
can we say this though, that he is somebody that is going to be there when they win, if they ever get to an NBA final? He's one of the guys that's going to be there.
He could be a contributing.
I think he would. I think he has to be unless he's moved in like a Kawhi Leonard or Russell Westbrook type trade. That would be my only caveat to that.
Yeah.
And how much better does Middleton look? Back to what you've been saying, B, the whole time, when he is in an offense that really utilizes his strengths by coming off screens, catching and shooting, as opposed to all the dribbling and one-on-one and forcing up.
Too much.
Well, the thing is, I would argue we don't even know how much more effective he would be because he didn't really have an offense that catered to that this year.
I agree.
He was often the second playmaker. He took on a lot of like ball handling responsibilities. I think with Kidd and under Prunty, he kind of was a square peg in a round hole offensively a lot of this season. And I think in the playoffs it kind of got scaled back, and it was mostly Giannis or Bledsoe initiating pick and rolls, and Chris was able to play more of that off ball and just knock down big shots. Like having that guy that can knock down just a shot at the end of a shot clock when maybe you didn't have a great possession. Yeah, like a guy who can shoot 40-50% on fairly tough catch and shoot shots with a guy in his face. There's obviously value to that, and I think that like we said, I think he's definitely a solid number 3 on a championship team. But I think we're still hoping that Jabari takes that jump to become that number 2, or they're able to acquire one via trade or something along those lines.
Jabari ain't going to be here. I just don't think he's going to. Jabari sees himself as a number 1, and he ain't going to be a number 1 on this team. And I just think that his game and Giannis's game do not complement each other.
I think that they managed to mesh a little bit better during the postseason. When Jabari's, I feel like Jabari doesn't, again, because this might be a coaching issue, but Jabari as well didn't do what he was best at a lot of the time. Jabari should play, to me, when he's succeeding, it's more of a bully ball role. He's a good 3-point shooter, and with open threes is fine. But other than that, I want him using his body and having mismatches down low and getting offensive rebounds. And like Jabari is a physical player and a decent rebounder when he's engaged and actually interested in that role.
Would you say that he's a broke man's Carmelo Anthony?
No, I would not. I think his defense is better than Melo.
It's got to be.
It's not.
I mean, I'm stating facts here.
I can see the comp.
That's a low bar, Carmelo's.
That's always.
I gotta set it somewhere though.
That's always been the comp, and right now, if he's a poor man's current Carmelo Anthony, then he's not in the league because that'd be an extremely poor man.
But that $28 million that Carmelo's just sitting
I guess what I'm saying is I just don't know what you do with Jabari at this point. But I think it gets back to, let's get a coach in here. To your point, AJ, maybe a coach knows how to get him in a position where he's going to be more successful. So certainly one of the biggest takeaways from this whole Celtics run in the playoffs is a coach makes a difference, no?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Let's transition there. I think that's sort of a natural segue into the next thought here. The Bucks coaching search is one of the largest candidate pools that I can remember for a coaching search in quite some time.
That's a lot.
It's dense. Is there anyone that stands out to you? Is there any? Do you have a top 3? I guess what would if you were making your list, what are your finalists for the Bucks job? Who do you think would be a good fit?
Phil Jackson doesn't count. Gene.
Yeah, you can't. Phil Jackson. We're not bringing him out of the woods to come coach the team.
I'm going to give a real ambiguous answer to it that I've told Trey before. Is I don't know who this guy is, but who is the next Brad Stevens waiting in the college ranks to come up and do what he did to the Celtics for the Bucks?
I think that's the $billion question. I think
that's it. I don't know, but aren't there people in the Bucks organization who are paid to know this? Isn't there a general manager?
Snyder.
Yeah. I mean, what about a guy like Jay Wright? I think he's the one that people seem to think is the most NBA ready as far as college coaches go. I don't know how interested he is in leaving Villanova. It seems like he has a kingdom pretty much set up there. But that seems to be the name that I've heard for college coaches that would probably most closely fit your parameters.
I like that guy. I know this is kind of evading the question, but I want someone who's going to take all of these parts because I do believe the Bucks are better with this current pool of talent than the record showed. They need someone who can put this together, can put all these players in positions to be effective, and to get a legit, flowing, comprehensive offense into this team.
Watching the Bucks take the Celtics to 7 games was fairly impressive, considering the
I
Bucks
thought
were
so,
handicapped
yeah.
because their offense was stagnant. No one moved, no one passed. Bledsoe half the time would dribble the air out of the ball until 5 seconds on the clock. So yeah, you're spot on with if we could find a coach that could get these guys to flow.
And I mean,
that's what I want. I don't know who that guy is.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's my baby.
I want somebody who can put in place a comprehensive offense that, first of all, highlights Giannis, but also gets them in all these offenses I see out there where the ball's moving. Houston, Golden State, Boston, where the Bucks, it's one-on-one. It's pound the basketball. They can beat a lot of teams by playing that one-on-one because they have some really good one-on-one players, but they can't beat the elite.
No, and I think that the ceiling for that type of basketball is first round, maybe second round if you catch fire with your top players. And I agree with you. An actual offense would be a really good start. But my biggest issue is the defense, honestly. For a team that prides itself on being long and athletic, and they like to trumpet all these buzzwords, they play horrendous defense.
Absolutely.
A lot of the scheme.
I did feel they played a little bit better defense against the Celtics.
They did. But they also did so by abandoning a lot of the principles that they had done all year. They didn't blitz pick and rolls. They didn't randomly double team ball handlers 30 feet away from the hoop. So like a lot of the things that the Bucks did all season long, they didn't do, and then that helped their defense. So like for your defense to improve by just basically playing like rec league defense and just kind of calling it as you go, to me that was really damning.
And wasn't that hair on fire defense? Wasn't that kid's brainchild?
Yeah, absolutely.
When he first came to the Bucks, it was effective. And then once around the league, all the coaches figured it out and figured out how to pass out of it and how to pick and roll out of it, and it was dead in the water.
Yeah, professional players.
Right. Once teams realize that you beat it by passing early, once you see that second guy coming, you move the ball. And spoiler alert, it leads to a ton of open corner threes.
I also was going to say, I think it's also interesting that the teams that you mentioned, Gino, the Rockets and the Celtics, they both have really solid point guard play. And that's something that the Bucks have not very consistent.
Bledsoe's not a point guard.
He's not. He's
a
sixth man.
What about the general or the president?
The president. Yes. I think that's an awesome idea, but they don't
took a huge step back after that injury, though. He
if he plays well in that series, there's a really good chance they steal one of the Boston games.
And he only played well at home,
Yep.
I just didn't see enough of him actually playing a point guard role. I saw him as an off the ball.
Because they let Bledsoe handle the ball.
Exactly.
And Brogdon played a lot with Delly in the second unit.
Bledsoe is not the point guard. That we can all agree on. He's that guy. He's a rotational player that comes off the bench. He's your sixth man or whatever. He instills some energy, some offensive punch, but he belongs with the second unit.
Yep.
That or Bledsoe. If Bledsoe has any positive value around the league, he's like pretty high on my list of guys I'd be open to moving.
I don't know if you get much.
Yeah, I don't. After the playoff series, I can't imagine his value is particularly high. But
it's getting trolled by Terry Rozier.
Yeah, right. But like for me, coaches.
Back to your original question, I think all of these things that we're talking about, all these questions are secondary questions that have to be solved first and foremost by selecting the right coach who can instill an offense and a defensive scheme into this team. And then we can find out how good all these guys are and how they fit and everything. Right now, we just have a bunch of individual parts acting independently,
This is maybe, but this is maybe, it's a little bit bigger picture. But part of my issue with the coaching search just in general, again, is it kind of harkens back to the old Herb Cole Bucks. I don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know who's making this hire. Like, who's in charge of this search? Like, it's not John Horst. I'm pretty sure.
Is it Aaron Rodgers?
Like, the owners are going to. Yeah, it's Rodgers. Like, that's why that's what makes me nervous as a Bucks fan. Is like I've seen this before, and this ends with Larry Kristoviak being your head coach or something like that. Like
Terry Porter.
Yeah, I know how this ends because. They need a president of basketball operations. They need an actual NBA front office structure. Because if it's just the hand-picked GM who's going to say yes to the owners, just agreeing with whatever the owners say, then I'm not very comfortable with that structure at all.
That's why my pick would be for Chauncey Billups.
As president of basketball operations?
President of basketball operations and head coach.
I think that they need something. They need a president in some capacity to really make sure that the search goes well, because this is probably the most important coaching hire that the Bucks have had.
I agree, AJ, that the more and more I hear and read about this three-headed monster that they have at the top with the two owners and what's his name?
Horst.
The third guy. Yeah, no.
Oh, you're talking about Jamie Dinan? Because they have Lazary, Edens, and then Dinan or Peter Feigen or whatever. They have there's
Feigen,
there's so many different guys that all have some power.
cooks in the kitchen that they need to clear the deck and get one person who's head of all basketball operations, like you say, because then you just get this. You get this vanilla, like you say, Larry Krystoliak potential.
Yeah, it's just there's way too many people, and I don't know how you ever get 5 guys to agree on a hire and then have any confidence that it was the right move.
Right. And the last question, one of the last questions, kind of off the point here, I wanted to throw out to especially B is: have we changed our mind on Thon after the series?
I can't say that I've changed my mind much. I loved the energy he brought. And he did some very, very, very good things. Things I wasn't expecting him to do, that's for sure. But, I mean, Boston wasn't really, game planning for that guy. They didn't really care what he was going to do. And he wasn't carrying the Bucks. He was just providing a spark.
Yeah, and the thing about Thon is that the clock's ticking for him. He's, 36 now? He's only got a few good years left.
Knew it was coming, yep.
Jeez, you're like paint by numbers over there.
Yeah. My only issue is, again, it sort of seemed like once Boston knew, kind of as you alluded to, Brian, once Boston knew he was a part of the series, in Game 6 and 7, he was fairly non-factor to me. Game 7 especially, he hit the first 3 that he took, and then that was about it for his contributions the rest of the game.
He provides some rim defense that the Bucks need, though.
That's what they desperately need. They need someone in the middle who can protect the rim and be a presence. And I'm so desperate for that.
Yeah,
you're gonna keep touting
an average backup center looks. I mean, I was out there. I was the one who was out there. I was like, Tyler Zeller's not too bad, because the Bucks have
talking yourself into
the Bucks have Stockholm syndrome us into thinking that any center that can play is somehow the answer.
John Henson's baby hook. It's coming along. I really like it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's
lefty.
When you're
Is he
paying,
right or left-handed? I don't even know.
When you're paying
I do.
$25 million to centers that can't grab a rebound, anything looks good. But I'd rather. I mean, this is damning with faint praise, but I'd have no problem with Thon being either the starting or backup center next year, and kind of figure out if it meant anything.
You're not paying him yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought.
Right.
Is I'd rather pay him $2 million to try to figure it out than to pay John Henson $11 million to know what it is. So
I mean, I was ready. I was ready before this series, and they've heard it. You guys have heard it from me that he's done. Forget it. Move on. Turn the page. Now I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, maybe one more chance.
He deserves to be on an NBA roster.
One more time.
He didn't really get a fair shake this season. During the regular season, he just didn't play.
He had huge minutes in the first half of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say
those disappeared then.
Yeah. But that was also because once Prunty took over, he was coaching to win now at any cost.
Yeah, that's true.
Player development took a back seat because Prunty couldn't afford to do player development because it's an interim role. So you have there's no, we didn't win many games, but I played the young guy. That's not going to get you your next job. Yeah. So he had to go out there and try to win, and I understand his part of it as well. So I guess I mean other than the coaching search and the Jabari, the looming Jabari decision, is there any what are some other final thoughts you have on the Bucks? If you're rebuilding the bench, anything along those lines? What are the finishing touches you'd put on this Bucks roster, Gino?
Definitely number one. I get back to they need a rim protector rebound. They get killed on the board. Second shots by the team is just a plague on this team. They allow so many second shots. They need a rim protector, somebody who doesn't need the ball, doesn't want to be part of the, has to score, can just protect the rim and rebound. And I guess that brings us back to Larry Sanders. Can we bring him on?
Larry Sanders.
Get Larry Sanders off the weed.
All that it was making me think about was those midseason DeAndre Jordan trade rumors, and I was just like, man, that sure.
We should have made that trade.
Yeah, I was like, he sure checks off all those boxes.
Larry Sanders has to have run out of Dragon Ball Z episodes to watch by now.
No,
right?
he's watching all the different versions.
And he finally found out that 7 foot is too tall to be a good skateboarder. So,
but that's what they need. A coach and a rim protector.
Yeah, I'd like some more. I think this is any team, but I'd like some more bench shooting. I feel like your second unit nowadays has to basically be a playmaker and a bunch of shooters.
Tony Snell cutting it.
Yeah, you need something. You need some more reliable shooters. And
they need more threes. Yeah, absolutely, they need to surround Giannis with some 3-pointers.
Yep.
3-pointers.
That's his weakness. So I mean,
I would really like it. Yeah, I would a second unit lineup where it was just Giannis and a bunch of 3-point shooters would be super fun. Yeah,
Gianni and 3-point shooters.
Yep.
I say you got to bring in Michael Beasley.
Oh boy.
Bring him home.
Best player on the Knicks.
Bring Bees in the SpongeBob SquarePants unit back.
If you would bring back Beasley and Sanders, wheat sales in Milwaukee would go up dramatically.
It'd be enough to push it over the line for legalization, I think.
They track weed sales?
Oh, who's this? Oh, look at this. We have another guest, Trey Montuano, popping in.
Montuanos.
Cream City crashing the podcast.
My goodness.
All right.
Also, I'll say one last final thing for my personal wish list. I hope that the Bucks allow Jason Terry to not have to play minutes next year.
Why don't they just make him a coach?
I don't.
They should make him the logo.
Yeah, because Jason Terry shouldn't have to play 25 minutes a night at age 41.
It's amazing how much he was playing.
Wait, what if Jason Terry took over as the new Bango? Because the current Bango sucks. He's horrendous.
That's actually that's a new number one. We need a new Bango.
I'm into that.
That's my number one. New stadium. I need a new mascot that can actually do stunts.
Yeah, because the old Bango was a maniac, and this current one just not. He just rides a Harley. It's not cut. It's not cut.
He revs the engine at center court.
Not gonna do it for me.
They could just transition Jason Terry to those guys that jump off the trampoline and do sweet dunks.
Rim rockers?
The rim rockers.
Yeah, of course.
Jason Terry's knees can't handle that.
All right, Gino. Any final thoughts on before we let you go here today?
That's it. I'm just going to leave you guys with the thought that when you get into your NBA draft talk, no matter what Trey or B tell you, you never draft long snappers and punters.
You weren't a fan of the 5th-round punter? Okay. All right.
So for that reason, he gets a B to B- for me. Not
Oh my gosh, it's a B- now? It was like a D-.
That's
like,
I mean, good teams
I might
don't
give him
punt.
a full solid B, but
Come up to the B plus. Come on up to the B plus.
I'm with you, Gino. Good teams don't punt.
I wanted more defensive. Use those selections on the defense, man.
Wait, we drafted 2 corners with the first 2 picks.
Somebody cut him off.
So we have on record that drafting punters equals bad. I think we can safely say there. So
even worse, drafting long snappers.
But I mean, they're a battery. They have to have chemistry. How else do you develop that if you're not in rookie minicamp together?
I don't know.
You'll see. You'll all see. Thanks, yes, guys. Thank you, Gino. Thank you for joining us. Again, that was our guest, Gino Montuano. Thank you for joining the Jabronis here at Jabroni Sports today.
Next time we'll talk weed and sports with Gino.
I say we were just about to get there. We didn't quite make the cut.
Now we can start swearing.
Yeah, right? Dad's gone. Yeah. Well, hey, Trey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Did I miss any Becky Hammond talk?
You did not. You did not.
Sweet. What about Dwayne Casey?
Since we didn't miss that either. It was just we've been very Buck centric thus far, other than that brief divergence into long snappers and punters.
I just got one question. When you're looking at Dwayne Casey coaching on the sidelines, and he's not talking or yelling at his players, does he look like a sad clown that just washed off his makeup?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean,
I thought you were gonna say he's like the sales manager at Don Mitchell Subaru and Racine.
Do you think he just knew that his team overachieved and there was no way they could do this?
He's sitting here
in the
accepting
playoffs.
the Coach of the Year award, going, "My ass gonna get fired."
I think Dwayne Casey's like a smart enough guy to know that like this was it too. Like as he's getting Coach of the Year, like, well, if I don't beat LeBron though, it's not gonna mean a whole lot.
His pressers were evident enough where he was just like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, like, well,
LeBron.
I tried, but LeBron had a true shooting percentage of 71% in the series, so like we're not tough shit, man.
He
I
doesn't
guess
have anyone that matches up against him.
No, they tried everything, man. Like honestly, in that series, like I watched, like they threw different guys at him, like they tried doubling him, they tried forcing him to shoot jumpers, and LeBron would just hit fadeaway 25-footers on him and laugh his way down the court. Like,
that's starting to get ridiculous.
The fadeaway, for that, like he's working on it in the second round of the playoffs. He's out there showing off his project shot in the second round of the playoffs. Like, yeah, here's this new thing I've been doing.
These aren't like Jordan fadeaways either. These are like mega. He's going.
It's
like
more
11 feet.
It's more of a
backwards.
Dirk. Yeah, it's more of a Dirk fadeaway where it's unblockable because he jumps backwards to do it. Like he's like springing away from the defender.
He's got to learn the leg kick.
Yeah, yeah.
Johnny, you should teach him.
I'll teach him. I got the Dirk shot down.
But yeah, it was absolutely
you don't make
incredible.
It, but you got the form.
Well, he's a professional basketball
player. Yeah,
he'll be able to make it.
I mean, I'm pretty good, but
Technically proficient, but it's missing the finishing touch.
Right. The motion is repeatable. He's got that part down. But no, we haven't really talked about any of those things. I mean, so yeah. I think.
Welcome, Trey.
Yeah.
Thank you
First
guys.
time we've
I'm
had
happy to be here.
a full broat in a while.
Yeah, full broad.
A full what?
The full
Full
broad.
broat.
Oh, the full bro.
Full broad.
You never watched Dr. Steve Brule?
No.
I have a broad.
Congratulations
little
on the
tangy.
birth of little Leo.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
right.
Congratulations. Mazel tov.
Thank you, fellas.
Dad
Thank you.
times 2, double dad mode.
Double dad.
Double dad mode. Wow.
Now I have a double dad bod.
Now you have a family big enough for a family double dare.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Somehow I feel like Gonzo's going to get to the minivan talk with me.
Well, let's just get it out of the way. I mean, really, now.
No, you told me you're getting SUV. I get it.
People respect you so much more on the road when you
I've
have a
already
minivan.
given my opinion. I don't need to jam at home.
No, hey, there's a minivan. Let him go through. He's busy.
You get one of those baby on board stickers?
Yeah.
I think people it's more just like people are like, that person's already dead inside. Like, let them have this today.
Wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
That guy's got a lot going on.
Yeah, this person's been awake since 4 a.m. Let him go through in the minivan, for the love
It's
of God.
4 a.m.
I must have 2 kids.
I was envisioning coming here and having like a Q&A session with me.
With you?
Yeah, like,
you want us
like
to,
I'm your guest for like
do you
10
want us
minutes.
do you want us to interview you?
Yeah,
like we did
that'd
to
be
Gino.
Yeah.
All right, we can do that. I mean, you
Can I ask you fantasy football
yeah,
questions?
Did you ask Gino fantasy football questions?
No, God, no.
Oh my God, that would have been terrible.
You should have done it then.
Yeah, no, we only
I
got.
don't watch fantasy football. I'm like, Dad, you don't watch it.
No one does that. That's not how it works. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's just called NFL Red Zone.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite
Serious.
channel.
That is the fantasy football channel.
I turned that on at his house once, and he was so pissed off. He's
Really?
like, "Can I just watch one game?
I
Stop
compared
flipping back and forth." I'm like, "I'm not. It's the same channel."
I compared the real draft to a fantasy football draft
Oh,
to Gino
yeah.
once, and
Oh, no.
he just dressed me down, dude. He's like, I hate people that talk about fantasy football. I don't care about your fantasy football team. I don't care about fantasy football. It's not. It doesn't compare. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just because he doesn't understand it.
That's,
I mean,
that is true.
I'm pretty
You
sure
guys should make him join a league.
people
He won't do it.
people usually have that reaction about things that they don't understand.
G baby over there is pretty against fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't like fantasy
He is
football either.
he is his father's son.
Johnny doesn't understand it either.
Johnny
not
also-
your guy.
What are you drafting unicorns? I don't care. Whatever.
I just want to watch one game.
Dragon Ball Z, that's a fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy for me.
You're a Bengals fan though. I feel like you need something else. Like that's why I do it. I need something to offset that.
When my
Like,
team
I'll
loses
sit.
on Sunday, it's the best to get my mind off.
Right,
Like, Packers,
exactly.
Oh,
Yep.
Johnny, what are you looking at?
but then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden you're like, all right, let's go AB. Like out here, like yeah, let's go. All right.
I think the Bengals were graded out as having a really poor draft as well.
I would agree.
I think it was like or average draft.
Yeah, it was poor. I mean, they took a center in the first round, and he wasn't even really like a first round grade at all. So
Trey, who's your... All right,
Poor
let's
start.
start with the questions.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's
Who's
go.
your favorite
Go
wide receiver out of the draft?
yeah, let's go. Let's just go. Let's just ask Trey questions about the NFL draft.
All right, let's do it.
I'm into it.
Let's do like a 10-minute session.
Yeah, we got it.
Johnny, put it on the clock.
Okay, clock starting
Tick,
now.
tick, 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 tick.
Ding 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 ding.
No, I really
ding ding.
It's easy, but I really liked. Brian and I talked about it before the draft. I really like Calvin Ridley. He didn't really have a quarterback at Alabama that was even halfway decent, and he still produced. And I was kind of secretly hoping the Packers might take him.
All right. Rapid fire, guys. Let's go.
I like Calvin Ridley. My favorite wide receiver in this draft though is DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore, solid too.
Yeah, I thought he was really, really good at Maryland, and I think he's in a good situation to succeed very quickly.
Trey, how do you feel about Equanimus St. Brown?
Is that his name? Equiminarius? I don't know.
how to say
Yep.
that.
He speaks German, French, and English. I heard, or Spanish.
I've seen even on like fantasy football sites that he is referred to shorthand as EQ St. Brown.
Okay.
I think
which-
it's Equinemius. I think that's.
I think Equinemius. That's what I've heard. But yeah,
I don't know much about him. I just hope that one of those receivers is good. If
I-
two of them are good, that's a miracle. If one of them are good, that's a big win.
I like Jamon Moore. I thought that EQ St. Brown was a steal though.
He's a top 10
Yep.
rated out wide receiver in
Yep.
the draft, taken in the 7th round.
Yep, exactly.
All I know is I
Why?
definitely love.
Because
His dad is supposedly the LeVar Ball of football.
Yeah, I heard about
but
that.
I kept watching on day 3. I'm like,
That's
he's-
about right
he has-
for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I was like, he's got to go soon because he was one of my favorite wideouts, and he was kind of like on my like radar for guys to like be watching this next year, and all of a sudden it's in the 6th round, and I'm like, he still hasn't gone. Like, can someone draft this guy? Like, what is going on?
Jamon Moore was the 37th rated
Yep.
wide receiver, and he was a 5th rounder.
And I like I said, I liked Jamon Moore, but like EQ was like one of the guys that I was like, this guy could be really good.
Well, every time the Packers picked, when they picked Jamon Moore and then they picked Valdez-Scantling or whatever his name is. Both times the experts were like, I was following on Twitter. They were like, those are decent picks, but why not EQ?
Yeah,
and then I'm
still
like,
there. Like.
And then they drafted him with that last wide receiver pick, and I'm like, oh, well, they do like him as well. But why were those guys picked before him?
I think they just picked a bunch of lottery tickets, and they're hoping one will hit.
Yep.
What I do like about all three of those picks is they're all 6'4", 6'5", and they all run like 4.4 40s.
Yeah.
So I'm down with that. Aaron Rodgers will get you the ball. You just got to catch it.
The Packers wide receiver situation is going to be a lot of fun because, you have Devontae Adams, and then you have a lot of competition, and I really like it. I think it's going to be a
Geronimo Allison.
I think it's going to be a fun camp battle.
It's going to be feisty with those corners, too.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Alexander and Jackson.
They created a lot of competition, and they also, the other part is, like, they created depth, especially for corner. I feel like you always are losing corners as the season goes on because of how physical that position is.
I absolutely love the Packers draft. I don't care if they draft
you guys were out saying,
long snapper.
exactly. You guys were out saying B's. I feel like anytime if you look at the draft, even fuck it, who cares? Get rid of the long snapper and the punter, and you just looked at the rest of the players. And
they drafted both.
And then but then you remember we also have a first round pick, an additional first round pick next year. I don't know how you can give that draft anything less than
they got 3 first round picks. They drafted Jair Alexander. They got Josh Jackson, who was supposed to be at the end of the first round.
I love Josh Jackson.
And they got a first round pick next year, you're saying. So they got 3 first round picks.
It's all the old guys, Big Mark and Gino. They don't care about next year. We got to win this year.
Well, okay. And your long snapper, you took in the 7th round, and you had 12 picks.
Exactly.
So who cares about the long snapper? Let's just take that one off.
When you have that many picks, you don't necessarily have room for 12 new guys to make your roster from year to year. The
Packers went through 3 long snappers last season.
Right.
So why not go get one that, is worth something?
That's what I'm saying, too, is what I said before was to my dad was that they drafted a long snapper in, the 7th round?
7th round.
Yeah. And how many guys don't even make the team in the 7th round?
7th rounders have a worse hit rate than undrafted free agents.
And I guarantee you that long snapper's going to make the team.
Yeah.
I mean, and they already cut the punter. They already cut Vogel.
Yeah.
So
my bigger issue is with the punter.
5th round.
Why do you need a punter? If you're good, you're not like
they haven't had a dependable punter since John Ryan. And John Ryan's still punting. I mean, that guy was a good punter. Since then, they've had guys that have good times, bad stretches. You don't know. This was the guy, they went to the best college program in the country, and they got the best punter from the best coach that found this guy himself. Saban handpicked this guy. This guy's booming 73-yard punts, 65-yard punts. He's got a huge leg, great hang time. It's something where it's like, this has been a problem. Not a problem, but it's been a bit of a bugaboo. It's a 5th-round pick. You had 12 picks. I'm not so mad at it. It's not like you went to UTEP to find UTEP's punter. Right. You got Alabama's punter. You at least went to the best program and got the best punter.
Which, this is a total aside, but I feel like if you're a punter, Alabama's the last place I'd want to go to showcase my skills.
Yeah.
Because your highlight tape is probably 3 punts. There's probably 3 times that Alabama was pinned deep and had to punt, so you could really uncork one.
His national championship game, what was that? I think it was 2 years ago.
He did.
He set all sorts of records.
He flipped the field a couple times in that game for sure.
He's 6'6", that guy.
6'5", yeah, he's
6'5".
Long punter.
So maybe he can have some,
Field position is important in football.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I don't.
Thanks, Gino.
I don't agree.
Thanks, Gino Jr. The Denver Broncos won a Super Bowl because they had a good defense.
I just want to watch one game.
Just want to watch one game. Stop flipping it. All right, what else you guys got?
Who are some of your other favorite skill position guys from this draft? What do you think about the quarterback situations? Who's in the best position to succeed, and who has the hardest road to go?
Ooh,
Tony Romo.
I think the best position to succeed would be Josh Rosen.
I agree. Yeah,
I love Rosen to begin with, and I like Arizona's team.
That and Sam Bradford's going to get hurt by week 3.
And I think what was the other?
He's already hurt.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
And then who has the hardest road to go to find success from the rookie quarterback class? For first round rookie quarterback class, Kyle Lauletta might have a tough time winning the Giants job, but
I would say Baker Mayfield, but I don't think he's going to be the starter right away. I think Tyrod Taylor will get the nod.
I would assume so.
And then so after that, I'm going to go with my boy, who I said was the best quarterback when we talked about the draft earlier, Sam Darnold. He's in New York. There's a lot of pressure in New York, and he's probably going to be the starter.
Yeah.
He's going to get thrown into it, and he doesn't have very good receivers either.
What about Josh Allen? Because Josh Allen could actually win that starting job.
Him and J.J. Redick should live together.
Because Josh Allen might actually be the Bills' starting quarterback, and I don't think he's anywhere near ready.
I don't know. They really like that guy that they.
Who are the Bills' skill position?
They really like that quarterback that they
McCoy.
started over Tyrod Taylor and threw 5 picks in the first half or whatever.
Nathan
it was.
Peterson.
The Peterman.
Peterman.
They clearly know what they're doing up there.
Oh my god!
They made the playoffs somehow.
That is true.
They tried not
Tyrod
to, though.
Taylor, who they hate, and traded immediately after the season, and then Zay Jones, who looked like a bust last year. They traded for Kelvin Benjamin, who sucked. And at the end of the year, you're like, and the Bills are in the playoffs. I guess I don't know how they beat 9 teams. Really,
the Chargers are so much more talented than the Bills, and it's just win games, San Diego.
Oh, the Chargers have been
down the stretch. Yeah, the Ravens and the Chargers. All you guys got to do is go 2-2 the last 4, and you're good to go. And no, they both crap down their pants.
The Chargers have been the randomest team in the NFL for the past 3 years.
Even
It's longer than that.
So up and down.
Yeah, from week to week, you don't know what you're gonna get
Philip
from them.
Rivers lives down 8, 37 seconds, gotta go 80 yards. That's
Screaming at
lives
people.
that dream over.
One timeout.
It's Groundhog Day for Philip Rivers every Sunday.
He gets himself in those positions.
He wants to be.
Sometimes he's lucky to have one timeout. A lot of times it's we gotta do this with no
They
timeouts.
burned them all in the third quarter.
He wants to stretch that game out as
Quick
long as
release.
possible so he doesn't have to go home to his 15 kids or whatever he has.
With his bolo time.
So I was calling the first timeout 11 minutes ago in the third quarter. Shoot! Timeout! Dang it!
You guys are idiots.
Come on! Where's Jake Peavy?
There's a snake in my boots.
Line up!
God dang snake in my boots! Oh my god.
Anyways,
How much time? You got any time? Can you field one more? You gotta
Yeah,
go?
let's do one more.
We got one more.
NBA?
Yeah, who's
We can sneak one in.
your pick for the Bucks coach? Who do you want?
Good question.
Who do you want? Who do you think it'll be?
Can I do... Okay, who do I want and who do... Okay.
See if he answers this like his dad.
I want Mike Budenholzer.
Okay.
Who do I think it'll be?
Why?
I feel like he
Explain your answer. Show work.
Well, he obviously came from a good background in San Antonio, which is common with a lot of coaches around the NBA because I think the Bucks are interviewing 3 coaches.
Three pop disciples if you don't include Budenholzer.
Okay,
so really
so
4.
four.
But yeah.
He took that Atlanta team pretty far with not a whole lot. What did he have? Jeff Teague,
Paul Millsap,
Al Horford,
Al Horford, superstar.
Yep. That was the big 3.
and that was about it.
Yep, and they won 60 games.
But Jeff
I think.
Teague is garbage.
Yeah, Jeff Teague's not that great.
Al Horford's pretty solid.
No, but for a team with those being your 3 best players to win 60 games, I think that says a lot for the coach.
Did they still have Josh Smith?
Yeah, and they might have. That's Johnny's favorite player.
I don't think they did once they were really good.
I think he was in China.
Yeah.
But they that team that he coached last year that was awful, and
No.
he got fired, and they didn't even have one player that would start on any other NBA team.
Schroeder might.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He'd start for the Bucks.
Start on the Bucks. Yep, exactly. I would
think-
start Dennis Schroeder in a second on the Bucks.
I'd take him.
But I
I
think
not hesitate.
I think Budenholzer has what it takes to bring that team together, and he has what it takes to get him to play defense.
I was gonna bring that up with Gino, but I got sidetracked. But yeah, that's my biggest thing is he's a defense guy, and I think he could make the Bucks play really solid defense. And in the playoff series, and for the Bucks in general, their offense flowed much better when they're getting stops and they're creating turnovers, and they're able to the Bucks are a super fun team to watch in transition, and they're also
Unless
the worst.
Middleton has the ball.
They're also the worst team to watch in the half court though.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you get oh man, Giannis, and you're running and it's fun, and then in the half court you're like, who are these guys? What am I watching? This is horrible.
He'll have them using that athleticism on D, I think.
Yep.
For sure. And they go and get a big man, that'd be awesome.
Yep, and that's who I would want as well. Budenholzer's
What
at
did
the
my
top
dad
of
say?
list. He said he wants the next Brad Stevens.
Yeah. He didn't give us a name.
That's very generic. I want the next Brad Stevens too.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, that's it.
then he-
Gonzo
then
said
he's-
that's the $1 billion question.
Tasked us with, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Should have a drop for that.
Yeah, who is that
No,
guy?
but
We're just
who
supposed
I
to play
think
Jeopardy.
who I think the Bucks will pick is Monty Williams.
Oh man, I really don't want Monty.
I've heard a
Williams.
lot of talk about Monty for the past 2 years in Milwaukee.
I know.
And Gary Wolfel is pretty confident that
Does he have
Monty
some
Williams
sort of
is going to
connection or
That makes me confident that it won't happen because Gary Wolfel's hit rate is 10% on his predictions. He'll probably
He's supposed to be the insider.
He'll probably block me on Twitter. He'll somehow because he's so petty. But yeah, Mitch, who used to write for Basketball, he said Gary would basically just see things online and then regurgitate them as his opinion, takes. and he'd like talk to him during games, like, "Did you hear blah blah blah?" And Mitch is like, "Yes, I also have Twitter." So like,
little Stugats and everything.
And then Gary was on the Score this past week and was basically because like they're like, "What do you think?" Like blah blah blah. They asked him about the coaching search on the Score, and he's like, "What do you guys think?"
Oh yeah, he was terrible on the
like,
Score.
They're
actually,
like, "Well, you're the fucking guest. Like you're the expert here. Like we're asking you basically." So I don't put much stock into it. But yeah, Monty Williams, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I feel like for, like you said, the last 2 years, there's been...
Smoke, there's fire.
he did coach the Pelicans to the playoffs.
Yeah.
With not a whole lot.
No,
I mean, besides Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
But,
I was going to say... That's
I think
I don't
what
know
about
if
Patrick
Monty
Ewing?
Williams, great guy though. I mean, he's gone through some tough stuff.
I don't need a great guy though.
No, I hear you.
I don't need a guy to have a beer with. I need a guy who can coach a basketball team.
Right, that's kind of where I'm at. Like as harsh as that sounds, but
I do think that Becky Hammon won't get a fair shake though.
What do you mean? Like won't get a fair shake?
Like I think they're bringing her in to interview her for. You know Eden's and
it's good.
That guy's name. It's good publicity.
Lazary. It's really good PR. Yeah,
it's good PR.
See, I think it's almost like insulting PR because no one from the second row of a basketball team's bench, regardless of gender, has ever had an interview for a head coaching position. No one without any previous head coaching basketball experience has ever gotten this. So this looks like a token kind of like pity interview. I don't think there's any serious consideration for her being actually hired.
Yep.
I think she should be interviewed when she puts in her dues like any other coach would have to do. But right now, they're just kind of taking her out of the back row of the bench saying, hey, this is going to look really good in the papers if we interview the Becky Hammon.
She's exactly. She's like the third or fourth assistant on the Spurs. So like to assume that she'd be like the best head, I don't know. It's just weird.
Does anything change because she was a professional basketball player? Like, does that have a factor in it? Because it would if it was an NBA player. An NBA player would definitely get
I think that just adds to her list of credentials.
This would be like
for sure. But I'm saying, does that offset her not being as high up on the coaching pedigree?
In my
whatever?
opinion, I don't think so.
This is how I would equate it. This to me would be like if you were interviewing like Juwan Howard as your head coach. I would be saying the same thing. Like why not? Like they haven't been a coach very long. Like Becky Hammon retired from the WNBA 4 years ago. Like she hasn't been a coach in general for very long at all. And I think we're kind of seeing now that like the straight out of like playing coaching hires are a pretty mixed bag. Like it was like it was shiny and new, and now it's like, well, a lot of these guys are fired. Like a lot of them aren't coaching anymore. Derek Fisher's gone. Jason Kidd's gone. Like
did Tyronn Lue come from the second row?
Tyronn another one.
LeBron grabbed him and threw him in the coach's chair.
Hey, let's not forget about Earl Watson, okay?
Earl Watson fired as well. Another quick to the head spot.
Chauncey Billups could come from the booth to the coach's chair.
Well, I'm not saying Becky Hammon couldn't do the job or that she wouldn't be successful at it. I'm just saying that I think they're accelerating her purely for the press.
For sure. I think she's got skill, but
I don't think she has any real chance of
there.
actually getting this job, though. I think they're just doing it for the headlines.
It reeks to me.
Absolutely.
It smells like a Rooney Rule interview in the NFL when they bring in like the token black guy that they have to interview. It feels like that
because now she's going to be known as the first ever woman to be interviewed, right? And now the Bucks can hang that for the next 100 years that we were the progressive franchise that first interviewed a woman.
Yeah.
Yep. They can do 5 years ago on this day. The Milwaukee Bucks were the first franchise to interview a woman. Look how cool we are.
Look at us now.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at what the local news, there's a Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel article about how she's not ready. The timing isn't. I'm like, dude.
Whoever wrote that article, genius. Man.
Yeah.
Real creative. Yep. Are they interviewing Ettore Messina?
I thought they were, but I haven't seen him actually interview yet. With
that would be a good interview.
He was pretty high on my list, and I thought he did a good job with when Pop went out in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I thought he had them. They played their asses off. The rest, like they won that game at home, and they got game 5 for a team down 3-1 against like the best team in the league. They played them 48 minutes hard. Like that was.
They were playing for Pop though.
To an extent, but Messina still got to steer the ship. You know, like you gotta at least do that.
Hey, you got some guys on there that don't need steering.
Don't forget about David Blatt.
David Blatt is getting an interview. Like he's couldn't freeze.
Some people think he's got like the LeBron elixir or something, like because he spent time around him.
Because he made LeBron not very good, so he can do it when he plays against him. He was the only person who slowed down LeBron. Maybe he can do it from the other bench.
What a terrible coaching hire by the Cavs.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
Cavs didn't exactly followed up though by hiring the fucking Red Auerbach or anything.
Tell me the last good coach they had.
LeBron's hire, you know,
Cleveland. You're saying Cleveland, the last good coach they had.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while.
I'd say Lenny Wilkens. And
Ooh, man, we're going 90s. Yeah, we're going back to the 90s then.
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You weren't a big Mike Brown fan?
No.
I think Mike Brown is trash.
Absolutely
He
not.
got another job after that.
He sure did.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, that's it from me, fellas.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
Great
Best of
content.
luck,
You're the
and
best.
happy Mother's Day.
That was
I
our
don't
guess.
know.
Let's get you before we get you out of here. Let's get your Twitter handle shout out there.
At Trey Montuano. Do you want me to spell it again, Gonzo?
I know how to spell it.
TREMANTUANO.
Boom. That just flows.
Later.
That's got good rhythm.
does flow,
That's
yeah.
bars. That's bars. All right. Thanks, Trey.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So let's talk. Let's get outside of the Bucks a little bit here for a second.
Outside of the Bucks, I get
Let's
get the junk.
Let's get it up. Okay, calm down. You're having
What a
kittens.
jokester.
Yeah, you're having kittens over there. Let's break down the conference finals. We've kind of talked about the playoffs at large a little bit, but we got ourselves a pretty interesting pair of conference finals, I think. Boston versus Cleveland, probably not the series that most anticipated.
Worried.
And then you have Houston versus Golden State, which I think is very much the series everyone anticipated.
I agree, but I'm worried. I'm worried the Warriors might just sweep Houston.
I like the Rockets a lot. I think the Rockets are a very good team.
I definitely think they can get one.
Yep, I was gonna say because
they can get one.
I think especially because they have home court. I think the Rockets win a game, probably game 1 or 2, and
that one would probably be their best chance.
Yep.
Fans are going to be fired up. They haven't figured each other out yet.
Yep.
If they're hot, maybe they can make a bunch of threes. But I'm looking at these matchups. Who's guarding Kevin Durant?
The matchups are brutal.
Who's doing that? Trevor Ariza?
That's the
Yeah,
one.
for
Yep,
sure.
That's the one. It has to be.
That still
Yep.
is like nobody guarding him.
Yeah, it's. I know. Trevor
I know
Ariza-
how good Trevor Ariza is at defense, but it don't matter.
Yeah, it's not gonna stop him. And then who's guarding Clay now? Eric Gordon.
Who's Harden guarding?
Yeah, I know.
Thompson?
It's. I know. The matchups are
Chris
tough.
Paul might actually be able to affect Curry a little.
The only because they start Ariza and PJ Tucker, so the Rockets do start two
So who's
good
guarding
wing defenders.
Draymond Green?
Draymond's
PJ
probably playing
Tucker?
center, right? So it'd be Clint Capella because if they're
Clint's
starting
got to guard Draymond?
if they're starting the death lineup, which they've been doing, yeah.
The Hamptons 5.
The Hamptons
Okay,
Five.
come on, guys.
But yeah, if they're doing that, I think Clint Capella can guard Draymond Green though. I'm not worried about that matchup.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't. Clint Capella's a pretty athletic big to like recover and be still.
So they got Draymond handled.
Yeah, they can do that, and like I said,
Lead up.
I think that Tucker and Ariza can at least handle to an extent. You can get your Clay and Durant matchups at least covered, and then for the guards, Chris Paul is going to have the series of his life on Steph Curry, and you're going to have to just find someone to guard someone else and kind of just hope you get away with it. Like because the secondary guard for the Rockets is never really a defender. It's Eric Gordon's not going to lock you up.
I mean, who's Harden? I mean, I can't wait to watch Harden this series. He's going to be scrutinized hard because if he loses, it's probably going to be on him for the majority of it. And who's he going to be guarding? That's just going to be torching him. Because if it's Klay Thompson, I mean, that's barbecue chicken.
He's got to guard Iggy.
Yeah, I think
hopefully
I think you could hide him on Iggy.
Yeah.
You can hide him on Iggy. I think he has to guard like Quinn Cook when the second unit comes in. Sean Livingston when that lineup's in.
How is Sean Livingston still on that team, man?
He still
I don't
fills
know,
the
man.
role though.
I think he's perfect for that team. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but I feel like he could be getting paid to play somewhere else.
He could have. I think he chose that he'd rather just be successful
Win.
than cash in. Yeah, because I think 2 or 3 years ago when he was a free agent, they took care of him all right though. I think he got like it was like $6 or $7 million a year
That's
he's
such
making.
a great backup point guard, man.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you can't really shoot from the outside, but you
Nope.
can shoot well enough. You can shoot well enough from 15.
Yeah, he can.
12.
And he can get to 15, 12 on you too. That's the
Yeah,
other thing
it's
is
just so long, yeah.
he's able to get to those spots pretty easily.
I remember how highly touted he was coming out of high school, man. Holy
Yep.
cow. They thought he was going to be LeBron before LeBron. Like,
Yep. And he's, despite the horrific injuries, carved out a very nice career.
I agree.
But that series, you really gotta. There's a whole lot of ifs, ands, and buts if you want to get Houston in it for very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Paul's probably gonna have to do a lot of 40, 10, and 5 type games.
Steph Curry or Kevin Durant rolled ankles certainly.
Can we talk
Yep.
about the East?
Yeah, let's talk about these. Sure, why not?
I think the East has a better chance
I
of
do
going
too.
to the max.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not much better, but
Yeah.
I still think it's in 5.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think
could
it's
see
Cavs,
LeBron
but
sweeping them. I could see it.
Yeah. But I also thought that the Sixers could sweep the Celtics as well.
That's
My prediction was
Everybody thought the
Philly in
Sixers were
5.
winning that one, yeah.
My prediction was Philly in 5. If I'm being completely honest.
you told me it was Bucks and 6.
What's that?
I do feel better about the Bucks after seeing the Celtics play the Sixers.
Yeah, because, man, I got to tell you who should not be feeling better after that series, though, is Brett Brown. Because Brett Brown had a rough series, man. Like, some of the late game plays or lack thereof for Philly.
A lot of choking going on.
A lot of guys with their hair on fire. A lot of bad shots. A lot of guys taking shots that shouldn't be. A lot of plays to get weird shots, like T.J. McConnell, 20-footers. And, yeah, Brett Brown got exposed, and I think he has to do some soul-searching this offseason because Brett Brown showed him how the big boys coach, and it was rough. It was a rough experience for Brett because they've gotten by largely on just rolling out the more talented team.
Back to the conference finals, I'm super impressed with Tatum and Brown.
Oh, my God.
These guys blow me away, man.
Oh, my God.
Dude, don't forget about the gods.
Scary Terry.
Okay.
I forgot about Scary Terry. He's impressed me, too, man.
But he
made himself some money.
He impressed me so much in such a different way because Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'm like, I know these guys are good.
Yep.
I think they can make a jump. Like, Scary Terry, I was just like...
I didn't even know
He's a guy.
I don't know.
I didn't even know it.
I'll take him on 2K, but he can't shoot that well in this 2K. But all of a sudden with the update,
Terry Rozier
updated him for the playoffs.
Terry Rozier's an 85 now. Like, yeah.
He's a 78, which is bullshit.
That is bullshit, actually.
Maybe they updated it again, hopefully.
So what do they do with Kyrie? They should ship him out or something.
I mean, value, you know.
Scary Terry on the cheap.
Did you know that Marcus Smart and Scary Terry are free agents?
They are free agents?
Yeah. They have some decisions to make. Boston does. I don't know how hard those decisions are, though, really. Because I feel like there's no wrong answer. Like
there's so much talent, so many assets. They have just everything in
But
Boston.
those two guys could be a nice off-the-bench combo.
They would, but they can still keep one of them. Because they're
Who
not
do you keep, though? That's kind of where I wanted to get.
But whichever one you don't keep, you get to replace with this Kyrie Irving fella as well for next year, and then Gordon Hayward comes in too. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying like all these like the Celtics problems are like.
And even if you have redundant skill sets, you could trade Hayward for something you're missing.
Yeah, you're talking trading like because the way it looks now, if you have Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier,
my God.
you have like.
They still don't have LeBron though.
Yeah, but like
but LeBron can only guard one guy.
Exactly.
Man. Maybe two.
I don't know, man. Sometimes when I watch him, I feel he's guarding everybody, man.
But like, this isn't the 2013 Hawks. This isn't just like a bunch of good role players. This is like 6 of like the top 30 players in the league on one team. We might be looking at like.
I love Tatum.
That's we're closer to like a Warriors like team building than we are like those Hawks teams or like a Heat team. Like this is a really really talented team, and they have the best coach in the league, number 2 at worst, really. Like
maybe currently the best. You know, Pop might have the overall lore and legend, but I don't know. Maybe Stevens is right now the best.
Yeah, because youth must be served at some point, typically. I think it's a super fun series, though. Yeah. I think it's a super fun series. It feels a lot more like the Cavs-Pacers series did than the Cavs-Raptors series. Because this particular version of the Celtics team, they don't really care that LeBron's owned the Celtics in the past. Doesn't mean anything to them. Like they never played them. Like this isn't like Jason Tatum doesn't have these scars of past defeats. You know. I'll go out on a limb and I'll say this. Unlike last year, I don't think the Celtics lose a game by 50 in this series.
I can't say that definitively.
Yeah, LeBron's hitting 27-foot fadeaways. Like I don't know.
I'm fine. I mean, I know it's a hot take. It might be controversial, but I think they keep it within 49 each game.
Props to the Celtics for building that team. They blew it up.
And they're not done building a team. That's the other thing.
They have the Sacramento Kings.
They have a Kings pick coming up, man.
And they busted up their team when they had the big 3. They took their assets and they
Hold
cashed in on draft
The
picks.
Nets gave them the world.
The Nets forced them to break it up. That's true.
But it's
they gave them like 3 first.
Too late, too. You know.
So maybe if you have a team like the Raptors right now and you have pieces and you're still not going to win it, people are saying keep the Raptors together. While you got pieces, you might as well cash them in for draft picks and try again.
I would argue that they don't. The Celtics didn't have anyone approaching their prime like DeMar DeRozan, though.
I wouldn't trade DeRozan. Everything else would be in play.
Everything else, yeah.
But who's the team that's looking at those players saying, yeah, I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to make my shot and my run.
There's always somebody who'll pick up like
The
a
Knicks.
Kyle Lowry.
Absolutely.
The Knicks are those dummies. They are those dummies.
The Nets.
I think a Kyle Lowry could for sure make a team do I think a team would bite on a Kyle Lowry for
Is he
sure.
worth the lottery pick, Kyle Lowry?
For sure.
I say by lottery
He's
pick,
an all-star.
you're just saying in the top 15.
He's an all-star, bro.
And lottery,
top
lottery
10. I'll say
okay,
top
I'll say
10.
lottery picks
yeah,
are
still. I don't like Kyle Lowry.
I would do anything that's not top 5 probably. Like if you're saying like pick number 7 for Kyle Lowry, like I'll probably
I could buy that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the hit rate once you get outside of the top 3 in the NBA draft, like it's pretty
Even inside.
it's pretty similar from like 6 through like 20, like within reason. Like and then the second round is just you're throwing darts, but like yeah, if I'm not trading a top 3 or top 5 pick, like yeah, I'll probably roll the dice with Lowry. If I'm a contender, if you're rebuilding, it makes no sense. But if you think that you can contend, sure.
So do you think the Raptors should bust it up? Or
Bust
keep
it up.
together?
I lean towards break it up.
Bust it up.
Bust it up.
Because my thing
Bust
is,
it up.
the Raptors still need to acquire a better superstar. The Raptors have like a reverse situation of most teams. I think the Raptors have all of their depth and like their benches in place. Like the Raptors are ready for a superstar. They just don't have one.
Yeah.
Like they're ready for like a real superstar because I love a lot of the other things that they have, but they just don't have that guy.
I'm gonna go against Dwayne Casey right now.
How dare you?
There was
Come on, man.
there was that game.
Right now.
There's
Kicking
that
the hand
game.
when he's down.
Yeah, dude, we're not going to allow this.
I think this is in poor taste. No.
Yeah, we're going to skip this.
Why was he sitting DeMar DeRozan at the end of the game? I know DeRozan was having a bad game, but he
DeRozan
still
fouled out.
No, that was the other game.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the last game?
The one before that.
Like
yeah,
when he got ejected?
benched.
when they had a chance, DeRozan sat for the past.
He was benched for the majority of the fourth quarter.
Dude, I mean,
Well, because they made their run without him, though.
That's
yeah,
true.
but
Well,
even
a lot
I
of
think
coaches
that's
do
the
that.
answer,
A lot of
yeah.
coaches do that.
right,
yeah.
but even
Right.
even if you're losing, you go to your best player. Even if he's having a bad game, you got to think that he's gonna kick out of it. He's gonna finally be the superstar that he's gonna be.
I think I heard a stat that DeMar DeRozan, in the 3 times they've played the Cavs, has not made a 3-point shot.
I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, and this was supposed to be his thing this year, right? Was
Improved
3-point
pace,
shooter.
yeah.
But Johnny, counter that though,
Yeah.
like the Rockets were doing that in the last series with James Harden,
Yeah, but they didn't. They could just sit James Harden.
but James Harden wasn't playing well, and they were just like, all right.
Yeah, but they didn't need him. They didn't need to like.
they knew they were
I
going
think
to
we're
win no
arguing
matter what.
the need part, though, because if you made your whole run without DeMar DeRozan,
Yeah, that's
That was just one game you made it without DeRozan.
Sure, but it's not that uncommon to see coaches be reacting. And a play like weird things happen in playoff series. Basically, is what I'm
true.
saying. Like playoff series
Mike
have a life of their
Miller
own.
helped win a playoff game.
I love Mike Miller.
Like
Mike Miller helped win a
play-
playoff game without a shoe on.
Yeah, like Thon Maker went from not
He didn't get in
playing.
trouble either, like Marcus Gasol did.
Thon Maker went from DNP to starting in 2 games in the playoffs. Like
Play your
weird
stars.
weird shit happens in the playoffs.
How about the Cavs' second best player being Kyle Korver this year?
Dude,
How about it?
How about
they run
that?
the pick and roll with Korver and LeBron, and it's a thing of beauty.
deadly.
Fairly
It's fucking
unguardable as
deadly.
long as
Because
Kyle
Korver's
can,
got such a quick trigger, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So
so
good.
fast.
Yep.
God.
Unbelievable.
He has not lost a step in that department whatsoever.
It's amazing. I'm looking at some of these stats I see on Twitter for these guys the Cavs traded for. Larry Nance played 8 minutes in that series,
Oh,
that Raptors
man.
series. Clarkson shooting 29%, averaging 5 points a game.
Can I say something?
No.
The Cavs should have never
George
made.
Hill was important though.
George Hill
Cavs-
played
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
George Hill.
But Rodney Hood refused to play in games and come off
What was
benches
that all
and
about?
stuff.
Yeah, I heard that.
I
That's
can't
bad.
believe
That's a
how
bad
well they
look.
handled the number 1 seed with all the pieces they traded for, pretty much not contributing outside of Hill.
It's crazy.
LeBron, that's what it is.
That's how you do it.
When's C.D. Osman gonna get out there though and mix it up?
He did a little run.
Yeah,
Had a
he was
little run.
running with
I
the
want to
fellas.
see him start though.
He was out there with the fellas.
He should start. He should start over Jr.
Oh, dude, JR would not be happy about that.
There'd be soup. There'd be soup thrown in Sonny's face. I can tell you that right now.
Do you
that
think-
goes poorly?
How do you
A little minestrone for you, bud.
How do you
Hey,
throw
at least
soup?
it's not hot.
How do you throw soup? Is this an overhand, like,
Is it just
push
like
in the face?
Did he throw the entire bowl, or
Yeah.
did he just like throw like a bucket of like the ALS ice bucket challenge?
Is this a Super
Like
Bowl
the-
winning
yeah.
celebration dunk?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I feel like for sure you're just whipping like sidearm, whipping a bowl of soup like across the room, like it's a
like
big
a frisbee.
like it's a big ass cafeteria. You're like, fuck you, dude.
Is there a big pot of soup and you have a spoon and you're just shoveling it at him?
That's probably the least efficient way, which is probably how JR would do it. JR, not a very efficient player.
He wouldn't be able to hit him either
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
It did say he connected. It
Yeah.
just said a bowl of soup was thrown at. It didn't say he hit the coach.
JR was just high volume chucking soup. That's really all it
He threw
was.
6 of them.
That's definitely it.
I'm sorry, Johnny. I think you had a point before we had.
Do you think the Cavs would have been better off not making that trade at the trade deadline?
You said that there was more than one.
Yeah.
Well, we said saying that
the Lakers one specifically.
Yeah, the Lakers won, and also getting rid of D Wade. D Wade performed in the playoffs. He performed a little bit in the playoffs.
D Wade wanted to go. Whatever.
LeBron needs outside shooters.
Yep. I don't think that Wade makes a difference. How they didn't won, would they have won the series in 3 games
Isaiah's
if they made the trade?
Isaiah's a worse defender than Kyle Korver.
They just swept the number 1 seed. I don't know how much better you wanted them to do.
Brad Stevens.
That's in the past.
That's in the past. They're going to get exposed again by the Celtics like the Pacers did.
They're going to get exposed by the Celtics. Wow, you're on record. That's spicy. You're talking fucking wild.
But Brad Stevens took a journeyman like Isaiah Thomas and put him into his culture and his system and got him paid.
Maybe it's just that Brad Stevens is really good and not that Isaiah Thomas is
traded
really good.
I'm just saying.
So you telling me fucking Scary Terry isn't God?
I think Scary Terry might not be as good once he gets paid on a different team.
I'm just saying the Celtics need a second guy to score off the dribble. They have nobody else besides LeBron.
You're talking about
the Cavs, you mean?
What did I say?
Celtics.
The Cavs.
I was like, they have 4 guys. What are you talking about?
That's what they do.
The Cavs.
That's why the Celtics are good.
Yes. Anyways, okay, I misspoke. The Cavs need another guy to score off the dribble.
Way to go.
Thanks. But am I wrong?
That's George Hill.
Yeah. I take Isaiah.
Again, I just like to answer a lot of questions. I don't know if LeBron. When you were in catechism class, if you were at private school ever, and you got asked a question about what was the right answer in catechism, you could get away with saying Jesus, because maybe that would be the answer.
Who's the destroyer of the
when
world?
you ask anything about the Cavs or NBA, and you just can kind of say LeBron.
LeBron. It's probably LeBron.
But do they need a second guy? LeBron.
Like I said, I think George Hill actually does a good job taking some of the ball handling responsibilities. LeBron doesn't have to be on ball every play. Yeah. George Hill actually untapped a little bit of success with the him and Kevin Love pick and roll. They ran to a great deal. That's some of the best that Kevin Love looked like in game. It started in Game 7 of the Pacers series. They started running that pretty that was when LeBron was out with the cramps, and they ran the George Hill Kevin Love pick and roll a bunch, and they actually built a lead with LeBron out for that stretch. And that's kind of continued. Kevin Love played way better in this past series.
Yeah, Kevin Love, got to give him a shout out, man, because I got on him for being a mental midget a bunch. But
mental
midget. He played really well.
Like I said, the him and George Hill thing, they seem to have developed some chemistry. Stuff like that matters. Those are things that matter to a team. If you can develop that over the course of a postseason, I think that's huge for them, and I think that can be something that they lean on going forward. So it's not LeBron 65 times a game backing a guy down and shooting a fadeaway.
Does Tyronn have anything in the playbook that's not a pick and roll?
I just said no.
He doesn't have anything.
I just said no to begin with.
George Hill brought that play over. The play he's been running since grade school. The pick and roll.
Ty, not to step on your toes, but I think I got something that might work.
All right, first you're going to run here, and then you go here, and then you go here, and then you all run in the same direction. And then you run to the other side of the court. One of you will be open.
If not, LeBron gets the rebound and puts it back in.
Everybody stand on the wing and LeBron do his thing.
Yep.
Wait a second.
What if?
Pick and roll. Listen to this. A guy stands there, and he sets a pick, and the guy runs into him. You got to switch. What do you guys think?
JR's like, I can shoot off that.
Am I open? No. I'm going to still shoot.
Ty Lue actually, he holds a grudge against plays in general because a play is what resulted in AI taking a soul away from him in that final series.
That's an iconic moment.
Ooh. Yeah.
Iconic.
Yep.
By the way, LeBron's obviously not there for this meeting because LeBron knows what pick and roll is.
Right. Yeah. No, it's the other Cavs. Yeah. Seti Osman was trying to draw up the Turkish Delight. It's his favorite play. But, I think the Cavs win this series in 6. I think they're playing much better. I think Boston is going to be the team in the East probably going forward, but not this year. And LeBron's not ready to give up that throne quite yet.
Mm-hmm. I just want to see LeBron versus either Houston or Golden State, though. So I'm kind of hoping LeBron gets back. It's just witnessing greatness. Sometimes you can hate on it and push against it as long as you can. But at some point, you're like, dude, just give me more of this because sometime it's going to be gone.
Yeah, exactly. I saw somebody on Twitter said that they basically are like they used to not like LeBron, but they've gotten on board just so that they didn't like have to tell their kids that they were a hater someday. They're like, I don't want to be like, yeah, that guy's talking like, Dad, you're dumb. He was the best. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
it's undeniable. Man.
Yeah,
the
like
guy is doing some.
At this point, if you don't like
stuff.
it, I think you just look like a fool. Like, it's weirdly personal, and it shouldn't be because it's.
Well, just wait. They're going to be burning his jerseys in Cleveland when he leaves.
This offseason.
If those people, man, I'm going to go to Cleveland and just start slapping
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Like, you got to watch him for 14 years, basically, you idiots. Like, shut up.
I
He
got
left
Kev's.
living in Miami to come
back to
Cleveland
Cleveland
and play for lack of a better phrase, a slave owner. Man.
Yeah,
like Dan
exactly.
Gilbert
A guy that he did not like.
totally dragged you on your way out, and you came back because you loved the city like Cleveland. Come on, people.
Yep.
Love your boy.
Yep. He should get to just be the governor of Ohio forever.
Well, he's already the mayor of Toronto, so
That's
True. You mean
LeBronto.
LeBronto,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Johnny, where are we at on time? How are we looking right now? Do we have time to jump into a little bit of hockey talk before we get out of here?
We are looking at 1:04. We never did our
A
predictions.
minute 4? Time does not fly when you're having fun.
That's it. That's all we're at.
Oh my
A
God.
minute and
Last night,
4
man.
seconds.
A minute and 4 seconds? Wow.
No, we're at 1 hour and 4.
Okay.
We never did our predictions. I got Cavs in 6 as well.
Oh, okay. Sure. I think you said Cavs in 5.
Cavs 5.
Wishfully, Cavs in 7.
Cavs in 7. Hoping for one of the series to go deep here. There we go. Yeah.
He said it just for that.
Because,
I
man.
wish I was that clever, but no.
Honestly, though, like, the Celtics-Sixers series was, like, the most fun 5-game series I can remember. Like, there was a lot. Like,
It was a competitive fight.
It was exactly. Each game was really good. The Marcus Morris, Joel Embiid beef was pretty solid. Like,
It would have gone deeper if the Sixers didn't just puke on themselves down the stretch. And what was it, game 2? Just
Yep.
throwing the ball away.
Oh, the confetti game? Or
Yeah.
was the game 3?
Was that game
Game 3?
Oh,
Game
man,
3
the
was
confetti game.
Like, it had games like that, though. Like, something happened every game that was, like, for a 3-0, like, gentleman sweep type series.
That
Like,
doesn't get enough love.
what's that?
The confetti game.
Oh, the confetti game? I know.
That was
I know. Oh,
People
man.
just standing around, like, thumbs up their butts, looking like, can't do nothing about that.
Someone hit the
Hell
button.
yeah, we won! Oh, shit.
It was a long, like, it was a long, too.
Like, who's the guy? There's a big red button somewhere, and it says win on it or something. And his only job is, as soon as that horn goes, you're on the confetti, right, Bob? I'm on it. And then he just smashes the confetti button. Oh.
And then he had to put the emergency button. He had to pull the handle. Because he's like, oh, shit, no, not all of it.
It's like the nuclear codes.
That's why it was only in one little section.
Right. From now on, you need 2 keys.
Yeah.
The one button system it didn't work, and Bob got fired. So
Fucking Brian Colangelo has to come up there and put his key in.
They tried it though. I mean, you got to try something, but the one man system in Philly, they're not used to winning. They didn't know. They're like, we have to have confetti if we win. They're like, what do you mean? what is this? Confetti. They had to like explain it to him and show him some
that shit
examples.
that's really hard
Like,
to clean up,
yeah.
like after you like just spray it everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Confetti.
Winning, is that like trusting the process? How do those things compare? I don't know.
We're not ready to win yet. We weren't prepared.
Hinkie died for their sins, though. Hinkie died for their sins.
Hinkie, there's an answer to the Bucks' problems, maybe.
For a president of basketball operations?
Yeah.
I know. It'd be if Hinkie was in charge, though, he'd basically like have to make sure Giannis was on board for like a 5-year plan, and then like gut all the surrounding garbage, like for the most part. Because that's the Hinkie model is like long and painful because it's great now for Philly, but man, you got to be the butt of jokes for like a decade to get like, and that's if it's successful.
It was funny because I heard Daryl Morey interviewed one time, and he was just kind of like, the interviewer asked him who he thought the best general manager in basketball was, and he was like, this was like a month or two ago, and he goes, I think it's Sam Hinkie. And he's like, he's not even in basketball, but he goes, I think he's the best at his job. And they're stunned with that as the answer.
I think it's hard to disagree though, because we never got to see Hinkie execute the vision fully, and it still resulted in this.
Yeah.
Like they kind of accelerated the process. Like
Fultz wasn't his pick.
Nope. Fultz was the first one that was not his. So
Imagine if they had Tatum.
I would say,
oh my God.
I would say Hinkie seems like he'd have been more the type who would have traded down to 3, grabbed another first rounder. That'd be much more like process oriented than what they've done since then. Giving JJ Redick $23 million is not part of the process. Like things like that. Like so
That was still smart.
the 1-year deal,
Yeah,
$23 million.
yeah.
It was.
1-year deal. I like that.
Yeah.
Why was he so bad with the Bucks? Was it just because that Bucks roster was just terrible?
He was playing the 3 as well.
Yeah.
Because he had to play with Brandon Jennings and Monte Ellis.
JJ Redick.
So JJ Redick playing small forwards.
There's not enough ball around to go around there.
That too, yeah. An off ball shooter is just not going to get shots because you have 2 crazy high volume guys. 2 guys that'll each put up 20 shots and not blink an eye. There's half your shots for that team, for the whole team.
Monte's 30 a night.
Monte, yeah. But when Monte was going good, he was getting 30 up every night. So
do your hockey if you need to.
Yeah, all right, gang, let's go. All right, so the really big news tonight is Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, featuring our Gonzo. Our Vegas Golden Knights.
Believe that.
Lifelong fan. That's
yep.
I'm at AJ first. I'm at AJ first now, but my Twitter name is lifelong Vegas Golden Knights fan.
Not wrong.
Day one. I believed in these boys when
no one else did.
Only a few other people did.
What's their thing? Like Packers go Pack go or something, or like Vikings are Skull. What is
Vegas strong? Vegas strong. Okay. Yeah, they're Vegas strong. I mean, they did it like
That's
after.
Not what I say.
They did it after the shooting. They came up with it after because the night crazy guy at the concert shooting thing. So
they need a new one for next year.
They're playing hockey to honor the people who got shot or something. I don't know. There's some weird. I'm sure they tie it in somehow. But yeah,
emotional.
And they're playing Winnipeg.
They're playing the Winnipeg Jets, who were the Winnipeg Jets, and then they moved to Phoenix and became the Coyotes, and now that team is the Arizona Coyotes. And then the NHL was like, shit, a hockey team in Arizona is dumb, and they gave Winnipeg a team back.
Winnipeg is kind of a city you even forget is a city most of your life.
I think the new Jets are also like 10 years old. Like it's another like pretty young team. So you have
they don't get the history of the old team.
That's a good question. But I'm saying this because this current iteration was an expansion team as well.
Damn.
So the NHL now has had 2 expansion teams experience pretty good success in a fairly short amount of time. I mean, first season for the Knights, obviously. If they were to win the cup, that is the fastest any team has ever won a title professionally, like period.
No.
So
it's made hockey a tick more interesting.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, whoa, what's this Vegas situation going on?
Yeah, I'd like to go to a game. Just because
they got slot machines at the games. Like, I gotta tune in.
Probably.
They're just off the strip. Yeah, like there's like the strip, and then they're like a block over from the strip. So it actually, I wanted to go to a game pretty badly. I'm gonna try to get out there next year. And like that and Vegas Summer League are my 2 Vegas sports bucket lists.
Yeah.
What's the other finals?
And then the other conference finals is Washington, who won last night.
The Caps, they finally made it.
The Caps are in the conference finals, and they have a 1-0 lead. They stole Game 1 in Tampa against the Lightning.
The Lightning, huh?
So you have, I think the NHL is rooting really hard for Washington, and I don't know, as far as ratings, what any of the other 3 markets would do for them. I know Vegas is doing pretty well TV-wise, but it's not a big market. Like it's like the actual people that live in Vegas is like 800,000.
NHL needs Ovechkin in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Washington,
he's the best.
But the problem is they probably just want the
Besides
East.
Kaner.
No, he's better than Kaner.
Ovechkin looks like Brett Favre if he went like on a meth diet.
just ate meth. That was all he did.
He just ate it.
One of the things I think that's helping, also the Knights games do really. This is crazy to me. The Knights games do really well in Pittsburgh because the Knights drafted Marc-Andre Fleury, the former Penguins goalie, and he is so beloved there that people watch the Knights games to root for him. And like, there's a lot of people that are now Penguins/Knights fans. Like, that level of like emotional connection to a player is crazy to me. Like, especially in hockey, where it's like.
Wow, they didn't burn their jerseys?
No.
There was some nuance and some consideration for what this player had done for your city?
Yeah, no.
And your life?
Yeah, and it became... So now there's a lot of people that'll be like Pens... It'll be like Pitt/VGK, which is like people that are like those like that fan base. I just think that's really cool, and he's a great ambassador for the game. He's a super nice guy.
Is the guy that licks people, is he still playing, or is
he was bounced? He was bounced by Tampa. Yeah, Andrew Marchand, the face licker.
It's an interesting tactic.
It really is.
It would make me pretty mad as an opponent. Bro, don't lick me, man. Don't ever lick me.
It would make me mad.
Don't lick me,
bro. But, like, it's so gross. Like, why do you want to do that? Like, you're sweaty as shit. Like,
in a
it's
sport
hockey.
where you throw down the gloves and fist fight, like,
yeah,
licking?
You're the guy who licks people now. Like, you're kind of on the radar
Did he
for
fight
that.
a lot?
Did he fight a lot?
Yeah.
Like Marchand, he's not really like a goon or anything. They got
More of a liquor.
Yeah, I'd say because
But I'm saying that didn't start fights, or people. Are like,
no,
fuck
for
this.
sure. But he doesn't finish them because they have
Oh.
Zdeno Chara on their team who's 6'10" and will break your face. Like they have.
Oh,
a,
so
they
he's just got.
they have a
He
monster
just
of a
goes around
defenseman.
licking people and goes,
Yeah.
hey,
Hey,
help me out.
Hey, Chara, you got this? Yes. Like, okay, all right, very good. Yeah, they have actual lurch on their team. Yeah, Zdeno Chara also once basically killed a guy. If you want to look it up, he guided a guy into like a headboard, but there was like a cement piece, like just it was like off the rink, like but only slightly. And so he checked the guy. The guy goes over the boards and then smacks his head off of concrete and is like instantly out. And like the entire Montreal Canadiens team tried to fight Chara, and he basically was just like, "What? What do you want me to do?" And nobody actually could hit him because he's too tall.
Couldn't go for the legs.
No, I mean you can't really sweep the leg. That's in hockey. That's no.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
You can take off your skate and attack them with the blade.
that's I think now you're getting into criminal charges.
Gilmore stuff.
I would just
Yeah.
go with
Happy
the. I would
Gilmore.
go with
Yeah.
the stick I already have in my hand.
That's a good weapon. That's a
weapon.
good weapon as well.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Probably a little easier than taking off your extremely tightly tied skate.
I would take off my skate, put it to the head of the stick, tie it back on, and then attack them with
who
that.
are you fighting that's giving you this kind of time?
You're
All
better
right,
off
I
just-
give you a
Do
few
you know how
seconds.
fights work?
You're better off just, like hiding a shank.
Yeah.
How are you gonna hit them too when you're on one blade?
Right, yeah, now, yeah, you got a bare sock on the ice now? Like,
Take them both
Thought
off.
this assault through at all.
Take them both off. One of them you can throw at them like a projectile, and the other one you stab them with.
But how about you slipping in your socks on the skates? This guy's out there lightning quick because he's still got his on.
Yeah, and you're out there exactly doing, like, the comical, like, banana peel run, like, trying to catch up
This
to
guy
him.
planned an assault last night, and it is not going the way he thought.
He tied his skate onto a hockey stick and now is running around.
I didn't realize the stick would be so top-heavy, too. The skate's actually not really...
2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, and after all that, he got a 2-minute minor. Oh man, gonna really hurt his team as they're short for the next couple minutes here. Easy there, fella.
I don't watch much regular season NHL at all, but I'm here for like conference finals and
Yeah.
Stanley Cup.
Say,
I'll jump on board then. And
I mean, I'm a lifelong Vegas Golden Knights fan, so I watched
bless you.
like a couple games early in the year, and then for the next 4 months, not one. But I've hopped back in for the playoffs. The NHL playoffs are awesome, and overtime hockey is one of my favorite things in sports because there's no shootout. You play forever until someone scores.
Yeah.
And I just think there's something so compelling about
there
that.
can only be one.
Yep, and it has to be just a goal in the flow of play. And I just the tension that creates, like every like near chance is just like, oh my god, like you're living and dying, and it's great. And yeah, one of my favorite things. So I mean, if you're not watching hockey right now, give it a shot. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
5 minutes.
Yeah,
5
I'm not saying like
Find
it's
yourself
gonna
a
be.
third period, maybe an overtime.
Don't worry about what offside is. Icing's kind of weird now too.
Offsides.
They don't have to touch the puck on icing. I didn't know that. So
But you
like,
just yell sometimes, or you're at a bar and you want to make it seem like you watch hockey.
oh, that play was offside.
Offside.
Come on.
I watch a lot of hockey when the Hawks are in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
I'm one
Nice.
of those guys.
So not this year.
This
Yep.
year I haven't watched any hockey.
No.
But if the Hawks are in the playoffs, I'm watching every game.
That hard hawk hockey.
Again,
Go Hawks.
Only the playoffs. though.
Hashtag
Only the
Hawks suck.
playoffs.
All right.
A few season games. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm a typical Hawks fan.
couple.
Okay.
I like that when the Hawks too, and the rating thing came out, and with the Hawks not being in the playoffs, like when the Hawks are in the playoffs, Chicago's like the #1 market for NHL playoff ratings.
They love it, man.
The Hawks were not in the playoffs. Chicago was not in the top 15. Like Chicago was nowhere. They're like, Hawks aren't in. Don't give a fuck.
Don't care.
Crazy though, Buffalo is #2 because there's nothing else to do in Buffalo.
Well,
so
They got their wings.
they just eat wings all day and all night. Well, what are you gonna do today? Oh, we're gonna eat wings. Duh. Like,
They're named after us, you
yeah,
idiot.
come on, you stupid idiot. What do you think?
Let's go look at this Buffalo Bill statue.
It's a statue of Jim Kelly looking sad after
No,
a
it's
Super
just
Bowl.
Buffalo Bill, like the Native Americans. It's pretty
You know,
racist.
or from Silence of the Lambs. It's just a statue of Buffalo Bill.
Or they just put people through tables.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
that's yeah, dude.
No,
come on.
that's what's that?
Bill's Mafia.
Yeah, Bill's Mafia.
Bill's Mafia, gang. Yeah, like
But the buffalo actually isn't even native to America. It's the bison that you see in Native American paintings. Buffalo is native to Africa.
That's
we don't
true.
even have buffalo.
But it was named after Buffalo Bill.
My life is a lie. Is that what I'm being told right now? Is
Hey ho,
why did
Buffalo Bill.
Hold on. Then why did Buffalo? First of all, why are they named Buffalo? If
They're
there's
named
not-
after Buffalo Bill.
Why isn't it Bison, New York? Well, they're not named after Buffalo
They're named
Bill.
after Buffalo Bill.
No, they're not.
Look
Yes,
it up.
they are.
No,
Wait,
you look.
Buffalo Bill got his name after a buffalo, but it was actually a bison.
But there wasn't a buffalo, and again, so I'm back to my original question: how does
the
this
Bills.
happen? And then why?
They
why
like
is
Bills
he
on the
Oh wait, are we talking about the team or the city?
just the city?
Okay, I'm talking about the Bills.
Okay, yeah, the city.
Sorry, I'm lost.
Why?
Buffalo Bill. The city was named after him.
Buffalo Bills.
That's why I'm like bull fucking shit. It was.
The city was named after Buffalo
Yeah,
Bill.
and then they named the city after Ronald McDonald. Like, get the fuck out of here! Like, what is this shit? No, but why did they lean so hard? Because that's their fucking college team it's the Buffalo Bulls. So
They
it's
really
pretty,
leaned in on the whole buffalo thing.
yeah. Like I don't understand why they're so proud of animals with horns. I don't,
Dude, aren't you?
proud of
Well,
them,
when
man.
they were founding the city, they made a mistake and they called it Buffalo and they just ran with it.
I'm
They're
an-
not going
I'm
to
an
change the
Aries,
name
so
to
I like
Bison.
Yeah, I'm more of a Ram kind of guy myself. So I guess that's basically how America was found, anyways. Was just kind of mistakes, and I'm in the Indies. Fucking Christopher Columbus. Fucking Christopher Columbus.
Hey, he found 1382.
Genocide,
Bet you
He's-
didn't.
He's found Kenosha.
Fucking
Believe that too.
fucking smallpox blankets and genocide. Fucking fuck Christopher Columbus.
We got a statue of him.
I don't know why he gets a day. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, on the coast of Kenosha, we have a statue
Yeah.
for Christopher Columbus. Like he
Much like-
sailed to Lake
yeah.
Michigan and founded Kenosha.
He did.
He was pretty much like 1942's Hitler, you know?
Yeah, like Christopher Columbus, pretty bad guy, honestly. I think it was just because he had sweet name boats like Nina Pinta and
Yeah.
Santa Maria.
Wait,
People
was
were
it?
like Boris.
I don't
Boris.
think he was conquistador. He just discovered it, and then the other people came around and fucked over it.
Then
Right?
who had the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
No, that was Chris.
Yeah.
Was it Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Tell me
fucking
if I'm
dumbass
wrong.
Spanish guy.
Yeah,
I
if I'm
don't
wrong.
got my
Man, you're out here telling me wrong facts about the city of Buffalo. You're out here.
Buffalo Bill.
You're out here fake correcting my Christopher
Hey,
Columbus.
Founded by Buffalo
Out here fake correcting my Christopher Columbus boat
Founded
knowledge.
by Buffalo Bill.
Fucking ridiculous.
It's like St. Paul was founded by Paul Bunyan. Little known fact. Little known fact.
That one's actually true. That one's true.
Oh,
He's gonna be the best dad someday, just bullshitting his kids constantly. And then your kids are gonna go around like dumbasses to their friend's house, saying shit like, "Did you guys know that St. Paul was founded by Paul Bunyan?"
I'm teaching my kids.
My dad says that. My dad says it.
When my kids are younger, everybody likes believing like Santa and the Easter Bunny. My kids are gonna have Paul Bunyan.
You're not good. Paul Bunyan,
What does Paul Bunyan bring?
Paul Bunyan, no, he comes and he chops down your house if you're being naughty.
Kids, do you remember how the Grand Canyon was formed? Because Paul Bunyan was dragging his axe across Arizona, and that's how they formed the Grand Canyon.
Paul Bunyan, you're gonna teach your kids a religion based around Paul Bunyan.
Yes.
Okay.
What about when they try and teach your kids the other things?
No, whatever.
Related to Paul Bunyan.
Are you
Somehow.
gonna homeschool
Your
them?
teacher's a quack.
Paul Bunyan brings kids.
Your teacher's a quack.
So
Yeah,
essentially,
Paul Bunyan impregnates every woman.
you're gonna be like Bobby Boucher's mother in The Water Boy, and just fill his head full of lies like the Abdullah Oblongata.
Paul Bunyan.
Alligators is ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
Every time there's a tree chopped down.
No, you're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Every time there's a chopped down tree, I'll tell my kids. Can you guys believe Paul Bunyan was here last night? Did you guys see him?
How often do you see chopped down trees?
Did you leave any?
I think I've seen a handful in my life.
I don't know the
After
last
a
time I saw
storm.
someone out there with an axe. Just
Yeah,
hacking
like-
away.
Sometimes
Hey neighbor!
Paul Bunyan leaves flannel shirts as gifts for the good children.
That's
in the
how
neighborhood.
everybody gets their flannel shirts. They're dropped off by Paul Bunyan. If you're a good kid, you can get a flannel shirt just like Paul Bunyan.
Does he wear overalls?
Yeah.
I'm sure some iterations. Yeah, why not? Fucking-
Guys ever
And
had
he's got a blue ox.
Paul Bunyan's breakfast up in the Dells?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
Oh, it is actually.
You can't finish it.
It's
Can't,
well, they'll bring it forever.
Well, that's 'cause-
they'll never stop.
That's because Paul Bunyan
Yeah.
can finish it no problem. No fucking us humans. I mean,
Yeah, us lowly mortals. How are the railroads built? Paul Bunyan needed to get somewhere.
He needed to get to Cali, man.
He just started putting those tracks in as he went.
Started laying
can
him
we
down.
start that show on the History Channel instead of Ancient Aliens?
The Legend of
We
Paul
just
Bunyan.
have Paul Bunyan. How do you think the ancient pyramids are built? Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. Who could stack bricks that high besides Paul Bunyan? Am I
So
right?
tall! He's really tall!
How was the Great Wall of China built? Paul Bunyan.
Oh, Lord. Well, boys, I think I think we covered some good material here today.
Success.
Yeah.
I think it was a great success.
Shouts out to Paul B.
Shouts out to Paulie B. Man. Before we go, I'd like to again thank our guests, Gino Montuano, for joining us earlier today, talking some Bucks. We had co-host / today's guest, Trey Montuano, coming in talking a little NFL draft with us and a little hoops as well. Anything else? Anything else before we say la vie, adios amigos?
Whatever medium you're listening to us on, we're also available on Spotify. Not SoundCloud this week. I'm sorry. iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
How about this? If any of you
Stitcher. Go ahead.
Any of you listen to us, throw out what's the hashtag? Tweet at us. We'll get a hashtag going. But tweet at us
or just at Jabroni Sports.
Yeah. Just tweet at us. Let us know how you listen to the podcast because we're trying to figure that out. So
tweet
I'll just throw that out there.
At Jabroni Sports PC.
So,
PC. Sorry.
That's all right. Not a problem. Yeah, we're just trying to find out how people are listening, how you're getting to enjoy the show, and we're always looking for feedback, always looking for comments, that sort of thing.
There's somebody listening. I'd like to know who.
Yeah.
Also,
There's one guy out there. We know there's one guy.
There's at least a couple people. Yeah.
Also, we do podcast live now on Discord, and that's how we were talking to Gino. So if you want to listen live to us next time we do it, I don't have a set time. Do we do this 2 weeks?
2 weeks from today. Yeah.
2 weeks from today, and we'll tweet out a time.
Yeah, we'll drop it on Twitter when we have a more specific time. But
join us live on Discord.
At
what?
Jabroni Sports
at
PC.
Jabroni Sports PC.
Yeah. Do we have a Discord thing?
Oh no, we'll link it in the Twitter.
Okay.
Excellent. So with that, again, thank you guys. I'm AJ Firstenow, joined by Gonzo.
I can say my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonzo. It's guy at Gonzo 1323.
Wait, what was your name?
I'm Gonzo.
That's just the usual hosting mechanic, but all right. And Silky?
Yeah, at Scotty262.
All right. And, of course, Johnny Montuano.
Hey-o.
Thanks for listening, Jabronis. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.